for our liberties is on. And we know this, if we cower in fear, if we submit to the tyranny, if we give in to it, things will accelerate and be a lot worse than they will be if we stand up, if we say no, if we block the system at every level. We now have a completely illegitimate federal government engaged in every type of criminal activity known to man in front of us. It openly works for foreign mega banks who want to take our private bank accounts, pension funds, and what's left of our industry and basically shut it all down as a tool of total control. Then they could come back in with all their fiat currency, their SDRs, their global cashless currency, and buy everything up at the barrel of a gun. Homeland security type systems have been set up everywhere the globalists are in control. And everywhere they're in control, they have paramilitary police and even foreign mercenaries, in the case of Cyprus and Greece, EU mercs, security guards they're called, with MP4 HK submachine guns guarding the banks so that no one can go in as the money is wired and siphoned out. All of the elite, the Russian mafia, the globalist mafia, the bankster mafia, the insiders, the regular mafia. For months, it's now out in the news, they took billions out. They're taking retired auto mechanics and police officers' pensions, and the police that still have their jobs are there helping all of this happen. In fact, I was on our Twitter this morning, Real Alex Jones, and I saw the cartoon there. Perhaps you guys can punch that up. It's in the image section of a line of police blocking a bunch of protesters in Europe, and it shows, you know, classic Monopoly Man type top hat bankers walking, and they're saying, gee, I hope the cops don't find out we've stolen their pension funds. Yeah, there it is. I'm just hoping we can keep this whole thing under control after the police find out we're stealing their pensions. And that's what happened in Russia. It's what happened in Ceausescu's Romania. It's what's happened most places. The globalists are going to kill the golden goose. All of us have a responsibility to realize 92, on average, % of the global debt that they're signing Portugal and Greece and Spain and the U.S. and Australia and Iceland onto. Some places it's 95%, some it's 89%. On average, it's 92% of the debt is not ours. We were signed on to derivatives. And here's the best part. I know I say this every day because it's the answer to everything. The media, the collaborator media that calls looting people's bank accounts in Europe a bailout. Oh, well, it's a tough bailout. Now they won't even say on the news what's happening over there. You can tell the orders have gone out. I was watching Fox Business, and I was seeing people on there that would never have said this is okay, that are saying it's okay, because they've been told, you can see the talking point. You get on board with this or you're off the air. We don't care how high your ratings are. Plus, they got the Justice Department breathing down the neck of Rupert Murdoch. They'll indict his butt and arrest his butt if he doesn't play ball. And that's why you're seeing Republican leadership come out for gun control. That's why you're seeing all this, because the screws are being applied. And folks, if we roll over to the screws, can you say it's over? 2 words. It's over. It's over. It's over. Now, I want to give you the full-out assault from Colorado to Connecticut, the outright gun bans that are happening. And when there's the next event, staged or provocateured or naturally occurring, we are scripted to be blamed. Also, they are raiding and arresting veterans everywhere. There is a Night of the Long Knives putsch. This always happens. People are like, I can't believe they say the new terrorists aren't Al-Qaeda, they're veterans. Of course they are. I told you 11 years ago that would be the case.
I'm Darren McBreen, and these are some of the new items that are available now at InfoWarsShop.com.
Alert the public to Obama's blatant abuse of power with the new Obama t-shirt. Obama's Joker face on the front and come and take it on the back. It's time to publicly call him out for what he is, a tyrant. Defend the Second Amendment with our top seller Come and Take It t-shirts. And look at that, women's cut tank tops and t-shirts now available. Nice hat. Plus the Don't Tread on Me flag. And now you can become a micro distributor of the InfoWars magazine. Plus, get your own copy delivered right to your door each and every month. And if you're tired like I am of you and your family being exposed to polluted drinking water, get the Pro One high-performance water filter. It gets rid of all pathogenic bacteria, cyst, fluoride, heavy metals, and numerous other contaminants.
So join the revolution at InfoWarsShop.com.
Monday through Friday, from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Central. Back weeknights, 7 o'clock Central for InfoWars Nightly News at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. And I will be hosting the news tonight, and the interview portion of the Nightly News will be conducted by David Knight. Tonight, no pun intended. Wow, here we are. It's all unfolding, so what do we do about it? We discredit the system, we expose it, and we nullify it, and we point out that all laws that are unconstitutional and repugnant to common law are null and void. I saw a big federal court ruling yesterday where they declared the common law dead, when the common law is what the Bill of Rights, Constitution, and common sense springs from. This is a criminal. What you're witnessing is a criminal revolution. And everyone is now realizing that I talk to that you don't put perfume on a pig, that the worst case scenario is now unfolding, and that we are indeed in deep trouble. In fact, I'm seeing hardly anyone out there who is in denial now. But I am seeing something very disgusting that I knew we would see. And I've said this for many years studying history. Humans repeat the same activities over and over again. Rarely do we learn from serious mistakes of the past and head them off at the past before we repeat the full horror of the total state nightmare. But looking at what is unfolding, you have masses of people awakening, but they tend to get depressed. They tend to go into despair and just pull into themselves. And quite frankly, I don't blame them, but that is not the path to victory, and it's not the path to enlightenment. It's not the path to empowerment. It's not the path to the great challenge that is our age. We should be honored. And I'll be honest with you, thanking our lucky stars to be alive in a time such as this. Because when you look to the people and on through the political mist, to the truly powerful in their high places, they are scared of humanity. They are scared of the light of liberty that we carry in our hearts and minds, that is only a reflection of the great Creator. And they are the ones that are worried, and they should be. So never forget, despite how powerful the enemy is, if you pull back, there are things much greater in this universe. When you're standing up against the Leviathan, the mountain of corruption, and all its pomps, all its dupes, all its sycophantic servants, all its minions, and it looks unstoppable and huge, pull back and look above the mountain. And then you will see He that created the universe. And that's who we stand with. Now, that said, there is a great awakening happening, not just here, but on a planetary scale. All of us are leaders in the fight for human dignity and truth and justice, and all the things that have become almost forgotten. The cynical scorn it. The evil depend on you not realizing your potential. But there's not just those that are joining with good. There are not just those that are choosing sides right now and choosing the right side. There are many that have chosen through fear, through a love of sadism, through a lust of power that they don't understand, through the worship of evil and corruption. There are many that have chosen to join with the forces of global governance and the dark cult of genocide, the dark cult of democide, the cryptocracies, the kleptocracies that make up the kingdom of this world. They have chosen, they believe wisely, to join with the New World Order. They have chosen to sing their love song to all that is bad. They are nuzzling up against the downy breast feathers under the dark wings of the New World Order. And they are fed on the expropriated wealth, eaten up by the great bird of prey and vomited back down on its children. Sometimes I do get depressed, or not even depressed, I get in a dark mood, realizing that this is only the beginning of the rise of evil, and that we're going to have to watch even more of the innocent and the defenseless overrun and trampled in the dirt by these vipers. And so there is a great frustration that the best of us are cheerful and meek and do not see themselves as leaders, and so will not take the field against the globalist. But whether it is a foregone conclusion that evil overtake the world in a technocratic, technocracy nightmare, it is still our test to decide which side we will be on. And I would tell you, choose wisely. Think hard and think deep, but don't be lukewarm about this decision, because you are the people in the middle of the road that are overrun. You are simply the food in this fight. You are not respected by either side. I respect evil. Though I disdain it and disgust it, I respect its power and I know its will. And evil respects those of us that are awake and see it. And that is a far better position to be in than on the fence. I want to warn those of you that know that this great time of judgment is coming upon us, who think you're going to sit on the sidelines. You are sitting in the most dangerous position, because the food is in the bleachers. You are in the game. You are on the field, whether you sit there on your butt, your spiritual hind end or not. And if you don't have an overdriving, animating spirit of resistance against evil, if you aren't burning with a desire to confront these people, I want to give you the news flash. You've already chosen a side. I went to a big mega church here in town that my wife likes. It's a pretty good church overall, with Dave Mustaine and his family, when they were here visiting us on Easter. And I saw the preacher during a break got the word that I was in the audience, and they were looking at Dave too, and I could see them looking. And then afterwards, we were waiting to pick up my children at Sunday school and to leave. And I saw the assistant preacher, the sheriff's deputy, and the head preacher. And they didn't come over to us, and they looked like they were scared of us. And, you know, because everybody's got their own little happy thing going, and You know, people that are smart enough to give a good sermon are smart enough to know how the world really works, and are smart enough to know I judge the official church. I don't judge your soul. I judge its fruits, and it is not calling people to confront the powerful evil in this world. That church I was going to does call people to be world changers and go out there and be the light in the world, the salt in the world, which is good. Most establishment churches don't even do that now. But so many people think that, oh, I'm making things bad, or when I talk about things, it's manifesting it. That's not how the world really works. You can have an idea and then build it and manifest it. I'm here talking about these things to warn you. Because God helps those that helps themselves. People should be totally committed and given over to resisting this right now. I mean, the corruption is off the charts. The government is devaluing your savings right now. That's why commodities are all going up. From oil to gas to all their forms of energy, food, you name it. We're being robbed here like they're being robbed in Europe, just in a different way. And they're moving and announcing they're going to take your pension funds, public and private. They're going to take the money out of your bank accounts at one point or another, probably sooner rather than later. This is all going to happen. The whole system's set up for capital controls and capital flight controls. When you try to fly, if you've got $1,000 in your bag, they pull it out and look at it. That's why it's got strips in it. If you've got $3 silver, they take them from you. The TSA's training for highway checkpoints, border checkpoints, where you're not going to get out. They're coming for the guns so that you can't defend yourself, because they're going to do things so horrible, they know you're going to resist. They're now purging veterans, raiding them nationwide, taking their guns for no reason, with no due process, with no mental health.
Jakari Jackson here, and I want to talk to you for a second about water. You know about ProPure, our flagship water purification system, but check out some of our portable water filter products at InfoWarsStore.com. The clearly filtered water pitcher. Also, for those of you on the go, we have the Athlete Edition filtered water bottle and the RAD Eliminator Pro filtered sports bottle that removes radiation. And keep in mind, we have replacement filters for all of these products. The ever-popular grab-and-go bag favorite, the Life Straw, the Crystal Quest shower filter system, and the Aquapod kit, great for mass storage of water. And while you're at the InfoWars shop, pick up a copy of our latest book, 31 Days to Survival. You can find all this and more at the InfoWarsStore.com, and don't forget, it's your support that funds our operation. Sign up for our free newsletter at InfoWars.com/newsletter.
This is the end.
All of you that are celebrating the fact that the Second Amendment is being torn down and destroyed in many areas of the United States, as they've taken guns everywhere else in the world. We're one of the last countries. You need to understand, fools, that the system is going to take your free speech, it's going to take your wealth, it's going to take your future, it's going to take your dignity, and it's going to take your health. That is the eugenics population reduction plan. And it is a delusion to believe that 99.99999%, there's only a few thousand top globalists worldwide, less than 20 families. You are out of your minds to believe you're on a winning team. Because you've not only got people that are deciding to wake up and fight evil now because it's so historically obvious, you've got people deciding to join it. And I see them on television, I talk to them, I run into them, because I'm in the position that most of you aren't, where I'm well known now. And so I get to have these people now at public places walk up to me and tell me, you bet we're taking over, you bet we're winning, and you're going to get it. And I'm like, well, who are you? Are you a billionaire globalist? You're going to get it too, you stupid idiot. And I have told the police and military, I told you this 11 years ago when they set up Homeland Security. I said they're going to flip this from Al-Qaeda to gun owners, conservatives, libertarians, veterans, and state and local police who don't become federalized and don't play ball. You're going to not just get kicked out of the police force, they're going to come and arrest you. Unless America is the one exception out of every other place authoritarians have taken over. What do you think happened when a new Caesar would come in, kill his cousin, kill his brother, kill his dad, happened all the time. What do you think happened to the entire leadership of the Roman military and the centurions internationally and then domestically the Praetorian? That's the federal police. What do you think happened? Your throats got slit. You got thrown in the arena. You're fools. Fools. Fools from the foundations of the earth. You get rid of due process, you might as well burn your own house down. And the articles are pouring in. Absolutely pouring in to my offices. And they're up on Infowars.com right now. Veterans' guns confiscated after forced psychiatric evaluation. Navy veteran, no criminal record, honorably discharged, had done absolutely nothing wrong. And it's all on record here. And the police came and grabbed him, threw him in the hospital, had him forcibly evaluated, and he thought that what was happening to him was wrong. So if you think the government's corrupt, that's proof of the mental illness. And all his guns have been taken and his concealed carry, quote, permit, and then he was charged for the hospital stay. And this is happening all over the country, and they're saying, Dianne Feinstein said 2 weeks ago in Congress, in the Senate hearing, she said, no, we can't have an exemption from these gun laws for police and military, even when they're retired. Why, they're some of the most mentally ill people out there. So as a group, they're saying, even though statistically, retired police, retired military have some of the lowest crime rates. You can pull up the numbers, FBI.gov. As a group, you're guilty. How do you like that? How do you like it, police, who for 5-6 years have been getting the internal stuff where veterans, gun owners, conservatives, they're saying are the terrorists, returning veterans? Now it's you. And it's going to be you. And as soon as you get off the force, or as soon as you retire, or as soon as you get disabled, they're going to take what you've got as well. And then when the UN finally takes over under State Department plan and UN International Treaty and Public Law 7277, that's an executive order that becomes law by bureaucratic fiat. Under 7277, go read it. And go look at the graphics. It shows our military being phased down to nothing as the UN NATO military is built up. Our helmets get little in the graph. Their helmets get big in the graph. And then when they're finally done making you hate the police and the revolution and the takeover, the globalists are in the revolution, they're then going to disarm all the police as well. And all you'll have is big UN green zone command cities that run the deindustrialization, shutting down the agricultural systems, and run the extermination. Iraq was a model. 1,200,000 dead from war and starvation since the liberation.
Hi, this is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, with some news about some new additions to the InfoWars store. You know, good health is freedom. When you're healthy, you're not a slave to the medical system. Everything works well, your brain, your body, even your spirit. You're a healthier person. And to help support that great health, Alex has asked me to source the cleanest, most potent superfoods and other similar products in the world and bring them to the InfoWars store. So we've done that. The brand name is Health Ranger Select, and we're starting out right now with these 3 products. We've got Himalayan salt from Pakistan, formed hundreds of thousands of years ago in an ancient seabed long before modern pollution destroyed much of the oceans. This is loaded with trace minerals, and it's pristine, true, full-spectrum sea salt. We've also got natural Attitude Turmeric. It's an extract of turmeric, very potent, tastes great, alcohol-free. This is from organic turmeric out of India. And we've also got clean chlorella. And we sourced and did research on all the chlorella sources around the world, and we found the 2 cleanest sources that have the lowest levels of any kind of contaminants. In fact, this one is virtually free of all metals and all contaminants. It's called Clean Chlorella, and it's about 2/3 protein, and it's got chlorophyll and chlorella growth factor in it. Check it out online. It's an amazing superfood that athletes are using and people are using to help support healthy lifestyles. It's fantastic. This is all packaged in our certified organic facility here in Central Texas. There we follow USDA certified standards, and we're audited every year by the USDA certifier to make sure that we comply with all organic standards. That, combined with the fact that we only source super clean superfoods and raw materials from around the world, means that our products represent the cleanest and most potent products that you'll find across the natural products industry. Check all of these out under the Health Ranger Select brand name at the InfoWars store, InfoWarsStore.com. And we'll be bringing you more of these in the near future. Thanks and take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday edition. Already the 2nd day of April, 2013. All right, here's what I want to do. I want to get into the Second Amendment news, the economic news, the geopolitical news, the police state news, and some other key information. And then we're going to have completely open phones interspersed with a special report in the second hour. And then a friend of mine, Eddie Craig, who's also a talk show host, and he's a Nacogdoches sheriff's deputy who saw massive corruption and quit over it and exposed it, and then now just cleans the clocks of corrupt police, bureaucrats, and judges all over the state of Texas, and teaches very popular classes on the Bill of Rights and Constitution. He's going to be joining us to talk about that line in the sand that police are going to have to ask themselves, how many unlawful orders are you going to follow? Because you will be where the rubber meets the road. And a revolution against liberty will be like a car or a truck driving down a highway with spikes all over it. And you're the tires. Now, the globalists up top, they're not too worried about it. They don't care if they're driving on the rims with sparks shooting out the sides. But you had better, you want to be afraid of something? I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of letting it get that far. I'm not physically afraid of any of this. I'm certainly not looking forward to it if it goes into full-bore gun battles all over the place, because then it's going to be open season. And the establishment will commit atrocities, and the public will take the gloves off. And the establishment will commit atrocities and blame it on us. It won't matter. Then the gloves will be off. Everybody knows the foreign banks are staging the terror attacks. Everybody who counts, who can rub 2 brain cells together, knows the New World Order staged Oklahoma City. Everybody knows about Operation Gladio and Ajax and Gulf of Tonkin and Operation Northwoods. Everybody that counts does. Everybody I talk to in the Navy SEALs and Delta Force and the Army. Everybody I talk to in the CIA, retired. Everybody I talk to, everybody knows, as the song goes, everybody knows that the dice were loaded. Everyone rolls with their fingers crossed. Everybody knows the war is over. Everybody knows the good guys lost. Are we going to admit that to ourselves so that we can set about taking humanity back from the clutches of the globalist? Or are we going to live in denial? That, my friends, is up to you. But this is the great test. All right, enough of the preaching. I'm going to get to the news. When I open the phones up, I want to get your take on ways to take back the republic, ways to defend the Second Amendment, what you're planning to do. when they pull you over and search your car, or you come home and they've searched your house and they say, we have a record of that 30-round mag you didn't turn in, you're charged with a felony? Are you going to comply and turn all the guns in? Because then they'll ban the other guns. You see, once you pass the test, once they can take 10% out of your Cypress accounts, first it was 7.7, then it was 9.9, then it was 10.2, then it was 14.5, then it was 35%, 40%, 60, 70, 80. Now they're just saying, we're taking all the money out. I laugh because, man, this isn't hard to figure out how this works. You lay down to a bunch of wolves, they're going to tear our guts out. And I am sick of being nice guy and putting up with all this bull while a bunch of criminals run all over us and walk all over us and tell the world that the good guys are the bad guys. That's when you know you're 2 minutes to midnight. Is when they're killing the unborn in the womb, and then they say, let's start killing kids up to age 3. Let's have death panels. And you're like, that'll never happen. It's the law. They kill babies all over this country that are a year old, 2 years old. They've got people strapped down in local hospitals, and nobody's coming to save them, who don't have any family in or wards of the state who can talk, begging for water. And when they don't die, they remove the nurse and reprimand them and say, I know you're giving Mr. Johnson water. I've had the nurses on. I've had the Wall Street Journal writer, best-selling author Wesley Smith on. He's been there trying to get people out of hospitals who are going, thank you for helping me. You know, the guy was slightly brain damaged, paralyzed chest down. Was that the Winland case? Please don't let them kill me. And then he was alive 30 days later when they said take the water and food. So they just removed the nurses and put in the nurses that like to kill. And then 5, 6 days later, the tongue is cracking because all the water goes to the central organs. And the blood starts coming out all the orifices. The blood starts coming out of the cracks in the eyes. The blood starts coming out of the gums. And the people are like, please give me water, please, please, please. Strapped down, and water isn't coming. They're killing people all over the place. Every major hospital, they're murdering people right now, right now, right now. And now they come out in the journal of bioethics. That's the death panels, the bioethics boards. And they say, federally appointed boards, we're going to start killing kids up to age 3. But if you spank your 2-year-old who tries to open the back gate and go on the street for the 4th time, they're going to take your child because they love them. Isn't that a good one? They love killing them slow with the 100+ vaccines they get by age 5 now. They love bringing them up and watching you flounder. Watching you cry night after night as your autistic child has diarrhea and health problems and mental problems. They feed on that pain and they intend it to continue. The truth is they don't like to just kill kids right out in the open quickly. They like to take their time and brain damage them while the television programs them with satanic brainwashing to hopefully get their souls. Isn't that just sweet? Isn't that sweet? All of you that like evil, all of you that like to play with evil, you think it's going to give you power, but you've never really seen into evil and you don't know what it's really going to do to you. Go ahead, stick your arm in that dark hole. Go ahead, work with the dark side. Go ahead. You think there's power there? You're like a moth to the flame of the black sunshine. Black sunshine. Rolling like a slug from a 45. True death. A self-destructive fascination, screaming to the edge of nothing, nothing. You see, I get in here a little bit dark yesterday, and I don't go with it, so that's what happens. Instead, I'll just go with it today. What do they say in Cheech and Chong's first movie? When they're out there with the van and the pizzas, and he goes, look at you! look what's happened. And he goes, sir, I can't help it. He goes, oh, just go with it.
Just go with it.
Those of you that have decided to sign on to this are the biggest idiots. You've got the whole birthright for life and liberty and justice and all that's good, and you think evil and cheating is powerful. You think lying to yourselves are powerful. Let me plug a couple things. I'm going to get to the news right now. Again, you're listening to the Alex Jones Show. If you just joined me, I marvel at the New World Order system. I can't believe people can't see it, aren't concerned about it. And it's just so ridiculous that I do laugh occasionally because it's a defense mechanism. It's a defense mechanism because I will get very, very bummed out. And you can't get bummed out in a depressing world while we have to take your guns from you, especially if you're a veteran. And so why not? I mean, I think it's reasonable and liberal to want to kill a 65-year-old person, just not give them any cancer treatment, even though it's operable like they do in England. I think that's great free health care. I'm going to imagine I'm on the winning team. And, you know, what's wrong with killing healthy children up to age 3? They're not even saying kill, kids that have birth defects or anything up to, age 3. They're saying kill, let parents kill their children. They're like, that'll never happen. Oh, really? It already goes on all over the place. We broke that last year. People didn't believe it, even though it was in the Journal of Bioethics. Let me plug something here. Now, Planned Parenthood official argues for right to post-birth abortion. That was in the Florida legislature last week. I mean, what's the big deal? She's wearing a suit. I mean, she's got nice jewelry. She doesn't look like a gang banger. I mean, everybody knows that if you're wearing a sports jacket and a nice shirt and calling for dead babies, I mean, that's liberal. And I could just imagine that I'm with them. I wonder what it's like just to imagine I'm with the New World Order as they poison, as they destroy my future, as they do all this. And I just imagine I'm part of it. And I turn on, I watch the State of the Union and look at Obama and, oh, he's for me. Oh, he likes me. I've got a newborn baby coming. I'm going to go give it a bunch of shots. And then, the baby's 18 months old, walking around, giggling and laughing, and gets the next round and then has convulsions and never talks again. But that's not the shots. Oh, it's the government loves me. The government is a loving group. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, we're going to go to break here, and then I'm going to focus and well, I mean, look at drudgereport.com. I mean, just look at this site, okay? If you're a TV viewer, radio listeners, go there. UN goes for the guns. Yeah, they want speedy passage to say only governments can have guns, citizens can't. Connecticut moves towards sweeping gun laws. We told you last year, under the UN treaty, they're trying to get in line with the UN treaty. This is global government. State to decide who can buy guns, ammunition. More than 100 weapons types banned. California lawmakers consider regulating taxing ammo. Ammunition eligibility certificate. That's registration is what it is. Having ammo without the registration, you'll be arrested. They're going to SWAT team us all.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
I sit here and watch the globalists absolutely overturn all basic liberty. Yeah, here's the Washington Times article. We have a New American article up at Infowars.com, but it's basically the same accurate info. If you go to drudgereport.com, we can punch that up for TV viewers. UN goes for the guns. And it says, UN passes sweeping international arms regulation viewed by some as Second Amendment override. I am an expert on the treaty. And I've had Bob Dacey, who writes for the New American Magazine, who's an expert on it. He's also a gun dealer, a good friend of mine of about 15 years. And I've had the other lawyers on, congressional advisors. The UN thing, legislation says states have the right to have guns, but that's not individuals. And then they have little clauses that says you go to this meeting and the minutes of this for the interpretation. And we've written countless articles on this if you want to pull them up. The point is, you then go read, and says that the civilian ownership of firearms threatens the legitimate power monopoly of the state, and that there must be a complete abolition of private ownership of any type of small arm, including BB guns and other air-powered systems. And that's Unidir, July 7th, 2001, certified in New York, and added to the current piece of global legislation. What they don't want is third world countries getting their own arms or citizens to fight back to UN and mercenary extermination operations. I know you see Miss America up there saying, I love the UN, and shirts of little starving kids, and oh, the UN's helping. The UN's there cutting their food off, and then once they've already killed most of them, they'll have a photo op giving some kids some food. The UN in Rwanda helped kill 1 million people, on record. You can type in UN troops killing children, and if you got the nerve to look at it, it's barbecuing them, raping them, roasting them over fires, beating their brains out. They were there with machine guns set up when they had, what was the Hutus killing the Tutsis, the Christian minority, and then they tried to get out of the camps. They would run them to refugee camps. The UN would then pull out and wait with heavy machine guns because they didn't want to spend too many bullets. A human's not worth a bullet. And then they would send in the one tribe to hack them up. Yeah, there's the Guardian. UN troops stand by and watch carnage. They didn't stand by and watch. They run the operations. They run the operations. I mean, they go into villages in Africa and Latin America. This is in the New York Times. And they just line everybody up and just shoot them. I mean, but again, it's liberal. I mean, it's the UN. Obama's a Peace Prize winner. I mean, look at Gaddafi, bombing the whole country, killing 40,000 blacks, lining them up, shooting them, saying you're not allowed to be in Libya. You know, this is Africa. What do you think, Africans live here? I mean, that's the kind of stuff going on, and we've got to sit here while these criminals, armed to the teeth against us, and government arms to the teeth. Oh, UN admits Rwanda genocide failure. Oh, BBC. Well, Hitler should have come out and said, I'm leaving the bunker. I'm not going to get arrested. I admit failure with what I did in the death camps. It was an accident. UN-backed Congo troops kill more civilians than rebels, says Human Rights Watch. That's even the Huffington Post having to admit that. Well, that's AP on HuffPost. Surprised they even ran that. Well, I mean, the UN is a mass murder machine. And they say they're going to take your guns. Why do you think national security agencies and groups were involved in the last 2 shootings? Guaranteed staged. Colorado, hands down. They're staging all this stuff, and they're going to stage more. This is global government. America, they're telling the Swiss under UN they can't have guns. That's why the Swiss aren't in the EU. Ladies and gentlemen, worldwide, they've taken everybody's guns. And they say they want our guns, so when we say, hey, you can't take them, they go, nobody wants your guns, now turn them in. And all over the country, they're now raiding veterans who have no psychiatric history and taking their guns. It's on. Well, I'm going to admit it. All over the world, the UN, the pediatric journals, the bioethics journals, the death panels are calling for killing old people, children, anytime they want, killing anybody. If the state wants you dead, they just kill you even if you're totally healthy. I think that's reasonable. I think the state should be talking about how humans are scum and how they want to kill us. And I think it's good they're taking everybody's bank accounts. Now they're saying it's going to take all the money out in Cyprus, and they have foreign mercenaries flown in to guard the banks while the money's transferred out. I think that's great. I think it's good the Federal Reserve is devaluing the dollar right now, and that $85 billion a month is given to foreign and offshore banks. I think it's good that all the ultra-rich are totally tax-exempt and pay no income tax or corporate tax and are offshore. And I just think it's all wonderful. And then Buffett does something on one little small accounting thing on some domestic money he has as a stunt. I think that's sweet, too. I think it's good he shut down the pipeline that would have brought more oil and lowered gas prices here in the U.S. Out of Canada. I think it's good that the Keystone Pipeline was shut down, and that's going to be sent to China. Put that back on. If they all feel powerful through the state.
Response. Kim Jong-un ordering his forces to be poised to strike American targets.
Oh, they're good people.
He has, according to his state news agency,
They're not mindless or brainwashed. That's how our government is.
U.S. bases literally in the sights.
I had this guy tell me he's basically a commie.
This photo is
works for the government. He's taking over.
The order. It's complete with a map, charts, and the words U.S.
Look at that sack of crap.
Plan. This may all seem bizarre to the outside world, but it's designed for a domestic audience, portraying strength and shoring up Kim's legitimacy. It's all a direct response to the use by America of its stealth bombers yesterday during a joint exercise with the South. The United States insists the use of nuclear-capable aircraft was not intended to provoke the North, but instead part of the planned exercise.
So you've got one little rotten state now, so the big global rotten state that has even better weapons because we had more liberty, so they get to steal all that liberty and have an even bigger, system to go menace other people and us, because we're now paying for Homeland Security to get billions of bullets and armored vehicles and trained to confiscate our guns. And then the minute they're done using the military to have a civil war and try to take our guns, they're going to take your guns. It's like firing a gun that shoots your enemy, but fires another bullet back at you. It's not a good weapon to use. Everybody's so scared. It's like North Korea. We better do what the government says. They're listening to our phones, but we're not in a police state. Notice now they go, yeah, we're listening to everything you do. Trying to intimidate us. Well, good, you scum. Notice government films us, watches us, but then you film them, they freak out and act like it's something bad because they're scared of you. The answer is activate, get involved. Okay, I'll cover the Second Amendment news, the economic news, and then I'm going to go to your phone calls, I'm not giving the number out yet. I'm not giving the phone number out yet. I'm going to give it out when I'm ready to go to them. But I want to get your take on, the UN treaty. They're coming after our guns all over the country. They're going to federally and at the state level make you get insurance. Again, this is banker taxes. This is banker taxes. That's all it is. The power to tax, power to destroy. Who said that? The evil George Washington. Who says he's evil? FEMA. I'm serious. The government also says kill babies up to age 3. I mean, these are out-of-control criminals. Cops get called in and get taught the founders are bad. They should all walk out right there and go on the news and say, we've got authoritarian takeover artists here trying to overthrow America. They need to be arrested. Who do you work for? Somebody goes into an FBI meeting, a federal marshal meeting, a state police meeting, and starts mouthing America and the free market and liberty and private property and guns. What you say is, who do you work for? We got foreign infiltrators here. But if they work for North Korea, you'd say that. Oh, they work for banks. So it's okay. It's like, well, foreign banks took us over, okay? Yes, sir. George Washington's a piece of crap, sir. I mean, come on, wake up. Get out of the coma. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.